When a business intelligence professional works on a project, they have to juggle many tasks. They apply effective BI practices and tools in order to make a positive impact. They engage with stakeholders and manage their expectations. They extract data, transform it, and load it. They optimize and maintain databases. Then, they get to begin the next exciting part of a BI professional's role: monitoring and reporting. These activities bring together all aspects of BI to produce a usable tool, visually represented data that can be shared with and understood by others. After all, sharing data is what makes it powerful. It's one of the key ways in which information becomes intelligence. Hello, welcome to the final course of the Google Business Intelligence Certificate. I'm your instructor, Terrence, and I'm a business intelligence analyst here at Google. I'm excited to work with you as we explore data monitoring and reporting. As a BI analyst at Google, I'm responsible for developing a deep understanding of the problems that my stakeholders are trying to solve and, further, leveraging our data to provide solutions to those problems. Sometimes, these solutions are simple data queries or grids of numbers in a report, but the best solutions are often dashboards with interactive visualizations that can immediately draw attention to the most important trends and insights. This can save hours of work for your team. As we work together through this course, we'll focus on building visualizations and reporting to stakeholders. To do this, BI professionals create visualizations and dashboards that monitor data over time and continuously answer business questions. Then, they present these dashboards to their stakeholders and improve on them as time goes on. This enables businesses to make quick, informed decisions using specially built monitoring tools. As a reminder, a dashboard is an interactive visualization tool that monitors live, incoming data. You can create a dashboard for a variety of purposes, but BI professionals mainly use them to display the data they've collected, analyzed, and tracked for a specific business purpose. In this course, you'll learn to design dashboards, communicate about their scope, then improve on the visualizations as business needs evolve. First, you'll discover what kinds of information you need to know about a project in order to prepare the right kind of dashboard. You'll explore how to empower stakeholders by designing interactivity into the dashboard. You'll also gain key tools and techniques to design dashboards yourself. First, you'll make a plan to create dashboard mockups. Then, you'll explore Tableau, a commonly used data visualization tool, which will enable you to design your own dashboards and presentations in upcoming exercises. You'll learn to make appropriate design trade-offs and whether to pre-aggregate your data in SQL. Then, you'll move on to designing charts and organizing them into simple and effective dashboards. You'll refine your visualizations to adapt to evolving business needs. In addition, you'll gain some great strategies for presenting to and communicating with stakeholders. Having clear conversations with users about business needs and project scope prepares you to create the best tools for your stakeholder, client, or user. And you'll definitely use these communication skills to share your work and launch your career as a BI professional. Once you learn each of these skills, you'll have the chance to apply them in a realistic business scenario. You'll evaluate your stakeholders' needs and decide how best to plan, build, and iterate on a dashboard. So let's get going. I can't wait to share the exciting world of BI with you. Hi, I'm Terrence, and I'm a BI analyst at Google. So my team at Google, we're a central data and analytics team in the finance organization. So we help make decisions, related to headcount, how we're investing Google's money, how basic sales, revenue is doing, profitability, all of those sort of metrics to help make decisions within the finance org. So with business intelligence, I didn't have any formal training in school or anything like that. I started my career as more of a traditional financial analyst. I found myself being drawn to writing SQL, creating pipelines that then took that data and made it powerful for everyone. The kind of BI role was kind of coming into its own, and I found myself really drawn to that. So in my day-to-day, when it comes to BI tools, I'm on more of the project management side. It's really about having a really good familiarity with the tools that we use that ultimately our data engineers will be using to construct the pipelines, whether that's Google Cloud Platform and BigQuery, or all the way to dashboarding. So I have my hands in all of these things as I see projects all the way through from conceptualization, understand where the data is coming from. Is this an even a feasible project? Does the data exist in a way that we can ingest it and transform it? One of my biggest learnings is that the simple solutions are often the most powerful. The only way to really understand what those solutions are is to sit and really understand from your stakeholders, your users, what they're trying to solve for. You have to have a curiosity. You have to have a burning passion to go out there and want to understand, hey, how does your business work? Like, what are the problems you're facing? What questions are you trying to answer? What's your day-to-day like? You have to have that really, base understanding and then deep understanding to really go and take that the data that may be available to you and take it that additional mile. Really pull out important insights. Allow them to make decisions on data that they didn't even know existed before. You need to have that passion about understanding the business. Be curious, understand what problems they're facing. And ultimately, that's what I find really fun about this field. Being able to have that opportunity, being able to be empowered to go understand the problems that the business is facing and come up with really creative solutions to those problems with data. Hello again. Welcome to the first section of this course. In the next few lessons, we'll be exploring the foundations of BI dashboards and how they're different from some other kinds of data analytics dashboards. We'll also discover many reasons why dynamic visualizations are an excellent way to answer business questions, especially when the answers to those questions change over time. You'll learn how a dashboard's interactivity empowers the stakeholders who you're building it for. Also, we'll get into the specific steps to take while planning a dashboard. To do this, you'll even get to create your own mockup, an essential step in dashboard building. And finally, you'll cover the kinds of tools you might use to build BI visualizations in a professional setting. If you haven't already, you'll get set up with Tableau, the visualization tool you'll be using in this course. The next few lessons will lay the foundation for your dashboard journey. I hope you're as excited as I am to get started. You probably know that data visualization is the graphical representation of data. Maybe you've even had some experience creating charts, graphs, and other types of data visualizations. If you've earned your Google Data Analytics certificate, you explored many key data viz concepts, including accessibility and design thinking. If you'd like, feel free to spend some time going over these lessons again before moving forward. So, you have some familiarity with data visualization. But did you know that data analytics visualizations are not exactly the same as business intelligence visualizations? In many ways, they're pretty similar. Both are visual representations of data that communicate insights to the people who interpret them. They aim to share data in a clear and easy to digest manner. However, they differ in context. A DA visualization aims to answer a business question, such as, how is our company revenue trending this year? This chart uses only existing data. A BI visualization, on the other hand, seeks to answer that question in the long term. So, BI professionals might ask, how is revenue trending year over year? And what other metrics related to revenue might indicate an upcoming change in revenue trends? A BI visualization tracks or monitors data that is relevant to an ongoing business question. This means that sometimes it's built for data that doesn't even exist yet. In addition, the insights that come from a DA visualization would typically be used to make an important business decision. However, BI visualizations are used to make one decision now, but then another decision in the future, as the tracked data updates and lends new insights. In this way, BI visualizations are generally more dynamic than static, which means they are interactive or change over time. When creating a dashboard, a BI professional takes a different approach than a data analyst would. This is because their work goes beyond building and designing the dashboard to also maintaining it as time goes on. Here's an example. Say a BI professional at an airline designed a dashboard for stakeholders who want to monitor new airplane demand over the next 10 years. They include 6 different chart types so the users can easily identify important metrics and KPIs related to consumers' travel frequency, the useful product life cycle of airplanes, demand for new crafts, and lots more. But perhaps something in the industry changes. The stakeholders might ask for new KPIs, different arrangement of visual elements, or similar updates. It's the BI professional's job to interpret their requests, determine if they're reasonable and feasible, and implement them into the dash. In this way, the dashboard keeps informing decisions, solving problems, and answering key questions for the long term. As you've learned, the ability to proactively respond to change and remain continuously useful is an essential part of BI. Next time, we'll go deeper into empowering stakeholders with data visualizations. As a BI professional, you will build tools that monitor and showcase important business data. As you're learning, the main purpose of tracking this data and building it into a dashboard is to enable stakeholders to answer their own data questions. At its core, a dashboard is a tool. For example, a dashboard that tracks annual revenue can tell you a story about how a small business went viral overnight. Or a dashboard monitoring the global marketplace can tell you that competition has increased in a particular market. The stories told by dashboards provide important information about what's currently happening with the company's data. Then, these stories provide opportunities for action. Maybe a company facing new competition now knows that it needs to introduce a new product line or improve an existing one. And visualizations are more helpful than just raw data because they help make the data insights far more clear and understandable. Sometimes, a significant trend might be nearly impossible to identify without a visualization. For example, in this spreadsheet about a company's international sales, all of the data is here, but its meaning is not immediately apparent. On the other hand, a dashboard about this data can much more clearly represent what's going on. After all, the primary purpose of a dashboard isn't just to be aesthetically pleasing, it's to answer a question or solve a problem. Imagine that you need to find a company's total sales for the year 2019. This chart from a dashboard answers that question very simply. You can easily find the data point for the total of 2019 sales. Dashboards are also interactive, making them extremely flexible tools that put the power in the user's hands. A dashboard doesn't answer one question and then lose its usefulness. Instead, it can answer multiple questions based on what the user is searching for and how it's being used. So, going back to our example, maybe a stakeholder wants to use the dashboard to find out which country has the greatest total sales across all years. They can simply change the setting from within the dashboard environment to focus on different data or the same data in a different way. By creating and maintaining a multifunctional tool, BI professionals can reduce the amount of work people need to do. Instead of building 10 separate charts to answer 10 questions, just one interactive dashboard does the job. As you know, your stakeholders use the tools you build to make informed business decisions. So your role as a BI professional will rarely involve interpreting the data that your dashboard displays. Instead, you'll create a dash that empowers users to interpret the data on their own. So, you'll determine what the dashboard needs to do, build the appropriate tool, and maintain and improve on it over time. Coming up, we'll investigate more about stakeholder goals and create a mock-up from a dashboard plan. You'll soon be on your way to planning for the perfect dash. Like any important professional endeavor, dashboards require a lot of planning to get right. They also require a lot of collaboration. You've already worked on many aspects of BI planning, including a stakeholder requirements document, a project requirements document, and a strategy document. In this video, we're going to learn more about planning and gain some strategies for dashboards specifically. Typically, a BI professional works with their stakeholders to figure out what needs to be included in the dash. The process usually begins with the stakeholder describing their needs. For example, a sales or marketing executive may want a dashboard that tracks customer spending habits. They could ask for visualizations that demonstrate how often customers buy the same product again or how much revenue increases at peak shopping times, such as during certain holidays. After stakeholders explain their needs, a BI professional follows up with their own questions. This helps determine the level of detail involved. Some questions I like to ask are, what's the dashboard supposed to do? And what KPIs and dimensions is it tracking? It's helpful to also ask who the dashboard is being built for. Is it someone who needs the most specific level of detail? or someone who just needs high-level insights. Lastly, the BI professional must consider where to find the necessary data and the timeline it should represent. Of course, there are a limitless number of questions that can help shed light about any given project. As you continue to gain context, you might identify some gaps in your understanding or find some pain points that you and even the stakeholders weren't expecting. Following up on these new discoveries will help you ensure you address your stakeholders' needs more directly and create an effective tool for them to use. In addition to asking questions, many BI professionals will observe their stakeholders at work. This can be actually sitting alongside them at their workstations or sharing their screens in order to demonstrate a particular workflow. This is extremely helpful because often a stakeholder is so close to their own processes that they won't notice where or how a dashboard can help them. This exercise requires time, but it yields a ton of great insights. Likewise, it's valuable to iterate alongside your stakeholders. We talk about iteration a lot in BI. As a refresher, this just means repeating a procedure over and over again in order to keep getting closer to the desired result. And as you've learned, desired results are always changing, which is why BI professionals iterate all the time. The first step of the dashboard iteration process is to create a low-fidelity mockup. A low-fidelity mockup is a simple draft of a visualization that is used for planning a dashboard and evaluating its progress. It may be a pen and paper model of how it's organized, or a dashboard with a very limited amount of data. The stakeholder provides feedback, which you act on. Sharing a low-fidelity mockup is an excellent way to include your stakeholders and make the most of your collaboration. Also, it's very effective at avoiding potential errors. If you make an assumption that turns out to be incorrect, the mockup can help you and your users identify it and implement the necessary fixes. Soon, we'll explore even more about dashboard planning. After all, the best way to reach a goal is with a clear and thoughtful plan. If you don't properly plan before creating a dashboard, it's only common sense that you might make mistakes. But what kinds of problems can occur? In this video, we will explore some of the most common consequences of not adequately planning for a dashboard. There are three main types of dashboard issues that BI professionals encounter. Put simply, they are data problems, tool problems, and audience problems. Let's consider each of these more closely. First, when it comes to a BI dashboard, a data problem is an issue caused by the data being used that's in the dashboard. Maybe you've included more data than you need. Just as you've discovered with pipelines, this can cause dashboards to run slowly. On the other hand, if you don't include enough data, you might be missing crucial information that your stakeholders could really benefit from having. Perhaps you incorporated incorrect data sets or data from the wrong time period. This can cause your stakeholders to come to inaccurate conclusions. And if you don't understand what data is actually available, you might waste time and resources trying to obtain data that isn't there. Avoiding data problems requires you to be very specific before you begin building any BI tool. Some key points to consider include making sure you know what data should be displayed and where that data should come from. Also, set up a plan for how you will access the data and import it into your dashboard. And confirm that you have permission to access the data and you know what file type you'll use. Now, let's explore tool problems. These are dashboard issues involving the hardware or software being used. The most basic type of tool problem is simply selecting the wrong tool. As you know, each company uses particular coding languages and data visualization programs. And in most cases, the BI professional must use their organization's preferred tools. As you've been learning, many of the skills you apply to one tool easily transfers to another, but you still need to understand how these tools are different so you can navigate them effectively. Other tool problems relate to processing limitations. Some programs or servers may become overwhelmed if they're tracking too many KPIs. Sometimes they can even crash if too many people are making edits to the same visualization. If you run into a hardware limitation during your building phase, you may need to reduce the project scope or find a more creative solution, which you will learn more about later on in this course. Okay, finally, we have audience problems. These are dashboard issues caused by failing to adequately consider the needs of the user. For instance, imagine you're tasked with creating a dashboard for a company's human resources team. The tool needs to keep track of how many employees the company has hired or will hire and how many have resigned. If your dashboard also includes financial and operational metrics, these won't be relevant to your audience and may clutter the dash, causing complexity or confusion, which means your tool won't be as helpful to stakeholders as it could be. Another kind of audience problem concerns privacy and permissions. It's your responsibility to ensure that your dashboard only includes information that the users are permitted to access, rather than something sensitive or private. It's especially important to consider the needs of different audiences when you're building a single dashboard for multiple users. For example, say you're creating a dash to be used by a company's marketing team across Africa, Asia, and Europe, as well as by the Chief Marketing Officer. The CMO would need data about all regions, where the regional teams may only require access to their own data. In this case, you would configure the privacy settings to account for multiple permissions. Later on, you'll learn more about how privacy permissions work. But for now, you've explored some of the most common problems that occur when building dashboards. More importantly, you understand how to avoid them, and being proactive is an essential skill for any BI professional. You've been investigating various BI visualization tools and how they may have different user interfaces, or UIs, and work streams. In this video, we'll learn more about the different tools you might use to visualize data and create dashboards, as well as how your skills in one program can transfer to another. As you know, BI visualization tools enable you to visually represent the data you collect and prepare for a dashboard. With some programs, you can transform data and make a dashboard using the same software. Others are specifically dedicated to visualization and have limited functionality for transformation. In this course, we'll be working in Tableau most often. It's a powerful visual analytics platform that enables you to create BI dashboards and data visualizations. Tableau is used by many industry experts and has a straightforward and friendly UI. If you earned your Google Data Analytics certificate, you already have some experience with Tableau. To prepare for what's to come, feel free to take some time to review those lessons. Some other programs you might use as a BI professional include Google Data Studio, Looker, and Power BI. Let's explore them briefly now. Google Data Studio is a reporting tool that's all about simplicity. It focuses more on reporting than data transformation, but it can still be used to create a variety of dashboards. Looker is a data aggregation and dashboarding tool similar to Tableau. It uses its own modeling language called LookML. And Power BI is Microsoft's dashboarding and reporting tool, which is similar to Tableau. Some of its functions may offer different capabilities depending on the volume of data you're working with. These programs behave fairly similarly. You may use any of these tools to complete the activities in this course, but keep in mind that most of the instructions will be tailored to Tableau's UI and functionality. If you do choose to work in another program, you may need to take additional or different steps to finish the tasks. To start, in the next activity, you will set up your Tableau public account. Tableau Public is a free platform to explore, create, and publicly share data visualizations online. You can use it to perform most of Tableau's functions on any operating system at no cost. The second activity is optional. In it, you can download the Tableau Public Desktop Edition application to your computer. While in-browser functionality is nearly identical, some may prefer the desktop version. Because it is only available with Windows and Mac OS, it is not required to complete this course. Tableau Public Desktop does have functions that the in-browser Tableau Public does not. For example, it enables you to use Tableau without an internet connection. But again, it's not required to complete the activities in this course. One important thing to keep in mind is that these programs are constantly being updated and refined. They might appear differently as changes are made. If this happens, take the opportunity to troubleshoot the issue yourself. This is excellent practice for actual business scenarios you'll encounter a lot as a BI professional. You can hone your skills as a data detective as you practice the art of trial and error. And if you truly get stuck, you can always refer to the program's help resources, our forums, and the program's customer support. One last thing. When you create your Tableau public account, remember that potential employers can view your public profile as part of your work portfolio. This is helpful to remember after you've completed this program. Tableau also has a feature where you can let potential employers know you're available for hire. This can be enabled by checking the Available for Hire box on your Tableau public profile. Throughout this course, you've been discovering so much about the world of BI. You now know how interactive BI visualizations empower stakeholders to make decisions. You've explored how to effectively plan for a dashboard, as well as how to build a low-fidelity mockup. You've also set up the tools you will use to build dynamic visualizations. Once you're in a professional setting, you'll be able to use these experiences to plan for excellent dashboards. But for now, it's time to turn your attention to the next assessment. As a reminder, these challenges are here to help you evaluate your learning and progress throughout the course. Think of them as an essential measurement of your professional growth. Take some time to review any material you like, including the latest glossary, which is full of new vocabulary definitions and concepts. Good luck. You're going to do great.
Welcome back, future data analyst. As a budding analyst, you'll be exposed to a lot of data. People learn and absorb data in so many different ways, and one of the most effective ways that this can happen is through visualization. Data visualization is the graphic representation and presentation of data. In reality, it's just putting information into an image to make it easier for other people to understand. If you've ever looked at any kind of map, whether it's paper or online, then you know exactly how helpful visuals can be. Data visualizations are definitely having a moment right now. Online, we are surrounded by images that show information in all kinds of ways. But the history of data visualization goes back way further than the web. Visualizing data began long ago with maps, which are the visual representation of geographic data. This map of the known world is from 1502. Map makers continued to improve their visualizations as new lands were charted. New data was collected about those locations, and new methods for visualizing the data were created. Scientists and mathematicians began to truly embrace the idea of arranging data visually in the 1700s and 1800s. This bar graph is from 1821, and it doesn't look too different from bar graphs that we see today. But since the beginning of the digital age of data analytics in the 1990s, the scope and reach of visualizations have grown along with the data they graphically represent. As we keep learning how to more efficiently communicate with visuals, the quality of our insights continue to grow too. Today, we can quantify human behavior through data, and we've learned to use computers to collect, analyze, and visualize that data. As an analyst in today's world, you'll probably split your time with data visuals in two ways: looking at visuals in order to understand and draw conclusions about data, or creating visuals from raw data to tell a story. Either way, it's always good to keep in mind that data visualizations will be your key to success. This is especially true once you reach the point where you're ready to present the results of your data analysis to an audience. Getting people to understand your vision and thought process can feel challenging, but a well-made data visualization has the power to change people's minds. Plus, it can help someone who doesn't have the same technical background or experience as you form their own opinions. So here's a quick rule for creating a visualization. Your audience should know exactly what they're looking at within the first 5 seconds of seeing it. Basically, this means the visual should be clear and easy to follow. In the 5 seconds after that, your audience should understand the conclusion your visualization is making, even if they aren't totally familiar with the research you've been doing. They might not agree with your conclusion, and that's okay. You can always use their feedback to adjust your visualization and go back to the data to do further analysis. So now let's talk about what we have to do to create a visualization that's understandable, effective, and most importantly, convincing. Let's start from the beginning. Data visualizations are a helpful tool for fitting a lot of information into a small space. To do this, you first need to structure and organize your thoughts. Think about your objectives and the conclusions you've reached after sorting through data. Then think about the patterns you've noticed in the data, the things that surprised you, and of course, how all of this fits together into your analysis. Identifying the key elements of your findings helps set the stage for how you should organize your presentation. Check out this data visualization made by David McCandless, a well-known data journalist. This graphic includes 4 key elements: the information or data, the story, the goal, and the visual form. It's arranged in a 4-part Venn diagram, which tells us that all 4 elements are needed for a successful visualization. So far, you've learned a lot about the data used in visualizations. That's important because it's a key building block for your visualization. The story or concept adds meaning to the data and makes it interesting. We'll talk more about the importance of data storytelling later, but for now, just remember that the story and the data combined provide an outline of what you're trying to show. The goal or function makes the data both useful and usable, and the visual form creates both beauty and structure. With just 2 elements, you can create a rough sketch of a visual. This could work if you're at an early stage, but won't give you a complete visualization because you'd be missing other key elements. Even using 3 elements gets you closer, but you're not quite finished. For example, if you combined information, goal, and visual form without any story, your visual will probably look fine, but it won't be interesting. On their own, each element has value, but visualizations only become truly powerful and effective when you combine all 4 elements in a way that makes sense. And when you think about all these elements together, you can create something meaningful for your audience. At Google, I make sure to develop visualizations to tell stories about data that include all 4 of these elements. And I can tell you that each element is a key to a visualization success. That's why it's so important for you, as the analyst, to pay close attention to each element as we move forward. Other people might not know or understand the exact steps you took to come to the conclusions you've made, but that shouldn't stop them from understanding your reasoning. Basically, an effective data visualization should lead viewers to reach the same conclusion you did, but much more quickly. Because of the age we live in, we're constantly being shown different ways to view and absorb information. This means that you've already seen lots of visuals you can reference as you design your own visualizations. You have the power to tell convincing stories that can change opinions and shift mindsets. That's pretty cool. But you also have the responsibility to pay attention to the perspectives of others as you create these stories. So it's important to always keep that in mind. Coming up, we'll start drawing connections between data and images to create a strong foundation for your visual masterpieces. I can't wait to get started.